Okay, so I'm Sara Russo, and I will introduce to you the Cima Norma chocolate factory, on which I'm working with my colleagues Alessandro De Paoli, Manuel Ramello, and Cristina Natoli, that unfortunately are not here to speak with me because they're coming back from Switzerland, so from the factory itself. This factory is a group of buildings actually located in Torre, in the district of Blenio in Canton of Ticino. So you can see from the map that it's really a strategic position, just 40 kilometers from Bellinzona, 70 from Lugano, and 140 from Milan. It's located in a peculiar site. Here you have the panoramic view from the drone. So you see the factory, the complex, and the alpine landscape that surrounds it in Blenio Valley. This landscape is valuable both from the natural point of view, but also from the cultural one, because this area is near to the Lucomagno Pass, so was part of the antique routes throughout Europe, and this left many traces also architectural and artistics. And there is also a strong enogastronomic tradition linked not only to chocolate, but also to cheese, wine, and other local products, and this represents the immaterial part of the heritage of this territory. In this photo and also in this one, you can see the factory today that is surrounded by the valley and immersed in this landscape with woods, and also with the brook that you can see here on the left, that is the Soia Brook. And it is rich not only for this peculiar location, but also for the cultural heritage in it, because it's a huge complex with many buildings, and it's quite an unique example of industrial heritage in Canton of Ticino, because in time, with the lack of space typical of mountain areas, the other traces of the productive past were eliminated. So it's quite unique, and it also holds an immaterial heritage made up of memories, processes, and also different types of production that it had through its history. So I will tell you shortly about this history. At the beginning, the building was built as a brewery in 1882. And it was located near the brook just to benefit from its energy. And the brewery was then renovated by the Cima brothers. The Cima brothers were this family originally from Danjo, so a village near Torre, but they were engaged in chocolate production abroad. And this was quite a typical thing in Blenio Valley, because the inhabitants working in the food industry often emigrated to other European countries and then come back bringing experience. So the Cima brothers actually came back in 1903, and they founded the Fabrique de Chocolat Cima that you can see in the first photo. And they started from the beginning to contribute to territorial development, both with the construction of a power plant and with the reconstruction of the nearby bridge after the Soya's overflow in 1908. And in the first photo on the left, you can see both these works, because we have the power plant here and the bridge over the Soya, and this photo was taken shortly after the overflow. And in the 1913, instead, the factory was sold to Giuseppe Pagani, that was again an emigrant coming back from London. And he engaged again in tourist development and invested both in the factory and in a new railway from Biasca to Acquarossa. So under this property, the Cima reached the top of production and was blended with the Norma. So the Cima Norma was finally born. Norma chocolate brand was from Zurich, and Pagani bought it in 1914. The second photo witnesses the enlargement of the factory after a fire made by Pagani, and this is quite the shape that it has today, with this pediment with the Cima Norma on the top that is still present today. And Giuseppe Pagani in the factory formed a sort of company town because he gave employees places to eat, sleep, and live. So in 1968, when the factory closed due to problems with the main clients, also the surroundings and the valley changed. And to give you an example, after a few years, also the railway was dismissed, the Biasca-Across Railway. Nevertheless, this was not the end of the story, because you can see in the two photos the employees at work, and on the other side a new use that is one of the more recent use of the factory. At the beginning, it was used for residential and artisan production and for military purposes, and unfortunately in this phase all the machines were lost, so we have nothing from the productive line. But since 2016, the complex hosts a cultural foundation that is part of a bigger project that is called the Blenio Valley Master Plan, and that you can find online. And in the second photo, you see a shot taken during students' workshops. So there are also exhibitions and workshops inside now. Talking about the future of the Cima Norma, I'm showing you this cover of a document that the work group that is dealing with the regeneration of Cima Norma is made last year. And in this document, we ask ourselves where to start to make the potential of this factory effective, and to strengthen again the bond with the valley, because in the past the factory's development was linked, as I told you, with the territorial development. Considering that for many decades the Alpine Mountains have been reduced to marginal spaces at the service of cities, so it's just in the past years that Alps have been transformed, and now they have a new centrality. So we think that working on industrial heritage in Blenio Valley can become quite a laboratory for new forms of recovery, new uses, new approaches. So this document was meant to tell this strategy, this idea to the others, to envision the future of the factory. And we did it considering both the archaeological and architectural value of the building, and also the functional mix that could be the key to regenerate it. We consider the project as a process, actually, to develop in time, and each phase will serve as a guide for the next steps. So it will give us feedback, and also the chance to catch future opportunities. And the final goal is to reactivate the factory as a territorial hub, mixing private and public spaces, and this last one meant as community services for Torre and for the whole valley. The factory spaces will be renewed with attention, of course, to the architectural elements linked to the industrial past, so cast iron pillars and also the pediment on the facade, for example. And here in this render, you can see how it could look at the end of the process. Specifically, the current functions that are residential and cultural will be strengthened with others and integrated, and there will be new spaces for the present cultural foundation, and a new museum focused on the building history and on the valley's history, of course. And some spaces that are more flexible because they are huge productive spaces, will be transformed into working areas. So a co-working, flexible meeting rooms, private offices, and also shared workspace. Because we consider that in this time we're living in, and also considering the pandemic, the actual pandemic, this space could be used by smart workers, nomad workers, thanks to the technologies. So people that are interested in living in the mountains for also a long period of time. And that's why we inserted also a residential part, thinking about a work and stay kind of solution for this part. So you have common spaces like this in the picture, studio apartments, private rooms, and also the working spaces. So people could live there, stay for a long period, enjoying the mountains, but also being near to the main cities of Switzerland and also to Italy. The manufacturing activities instead will be located in various parts of the building, and there will be production of different things, from chocolate, so the Cima Norma chocolate, to fresh sweet pastry and whiskey. And these products will be sold in the food court that is made up of a restaurant that is the one that you see in the picture, and other spaces, other little spaces to consume and taste these products. So we think that this could could reinforce the concept of slow food also inside the building, and maybe attract also slow and conscious kind of tourism. And all these pictures are currently being used to attract also investors. In this first phase, we are searching, of course, for funds to start the real regeneration process. And you can understand easily in this secondary valley outside the tourist flows how it could be difficult to find these funds. So this is the point we're in. We are searching for funds to start the project. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.